I love you.
I know. San Diego, come on now. Let's get it together. All right, we're about to go live. So, hey, what's up, you guys? It's Stephanie Lou, and I'm here with my girl, Jenn Herman. What's up?
Hey, girl.
All right. You guys, we're about to go live, and I want you guys to go ahead and start planning out your schedule. Do what you guys got to do, because we're going to be talking about Instagram marketing. So if you're just tuning in, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Jenn and I are both in San Diego, and it's 60 degrees, and we were just chatting about how cold it is.
And that we're the world's biggest pussies because it's 60 degrees and we're both dying.
Oh my God, okay. All right, well, we're going to have an explicit captions on this.
Yes.
No, but for real though.
Sorry. I mean, well, yeah, we'll try to keep it a little bit more PG. My bad.
Yeah, so if you have little kids around, you might want to put on some headphones, because Jenn and I we're kind of ridiculous. But we are freaking cold here in San Diego. I'm wearing a jean jacket. I've got sweats on. I've got a heater. You were wearing a fur coat today. You're ridiculous.
I had my fur coat. Literally, I was like, people were laughing at me because they're like, you look like you're bundled up for Canada. I'm like, I know, because it's that cold. It's not. It's literally 60 degrees, and we are all dying. Like, it's the end of the world.
Yeah. I had a client today where they were asking, like, can we meet today? And I was like, it's kind of cold. Can we do this over Zoom?
We need cold days in San Diego. We don't go anywhere when it drops below 65.
That's hilarious. All right, cool. So a couple of folks that we have already checked in today. We have Rashida, Danny, Jasmine. Oh, Jasmine is up in Utah. What's up? Rashida says that you can only see...
She knows real cold.
Rashida?
She's making fun of us.
I know. She's like...
She's up in Utah, right?
No. That's Jasmine.
I'm sorry. Jasmine. My bad.
Jasmine's like, it's 60 degrees and you guys are cold. Stop it. Okay. Well, let's see here. So Rashida, I don't know what's up, but I could see us on the other screen where I could see both of our faces. So I don't know, maybe if you're on your phone, maybe you just have to tilt it. But let us know how that works out. But like I said, for those of you guys that are just tuning in, I'm here with my girl, Jenn Herman, and today we're about to go ahead and geek out about Instagram marketing. Now, Jenn Herman is like the go-to freaking expert when it comes to Instagram, and I also love her because, yes, we've had other people talk about Instagram marketing on the show, but Jenn is the type of person where she does not sugarcoat stuff. She will get to the root of the problem. She talks with her hands, which means, like, she's serious about her stuff. And she's legit. And not to mention the fact that she's the author of this book. Hello. Instagram for Business.
Yeah.
And we're giving away 2 copies of this. So you guys, if you're tuning in, go ahead and stay with us. All right, Jenn, let's talk about Instagram marketing. And first of all, why is Instagram like your thing?
Well, it's amazing. Duh. I just love it. But see, here's the thing. And I always laugh because people are always like, how hard is Instagram? Like, you upload a photo. And I'm like, oh, if it was that easy, I wouldn't be doing this many speaking engagements and writing books and be constantly asked 1,000,001 questions. And that's why I actually love Instagram, because you think it's so easy. It is. It's a photo upload. How hard can it be? But the tactics and the strategies and the way you have to be creative on Instagram compared to any other platform where you can just drop a link, or you can be like, oh, share this on Twitter that someone else shared. It's all the other platforms can be really lazy. Instagram forces you to be creative. It forces you to actually be active and engaged and part of the conversation. So it takes more work, but it's so much more rewarding and it's so much more fun. It's a huge platform for building a community. The engagement on Instagram is unlike what you will get on any other platform. So you really do build this real relationship with your audience. And it's just for that reason, and so many more, that I just think it's really powerful for a lot of brands and marketing.
That's awesome. Yeah, Instagram is one of those platforms where, yes, I'm on it, but I'm not religiously always on it because I feel like I always have to be perfect on it. I feel like I need to have the staged photo shoot. I literally hit up my girlfriend. I was like, we need to have an Insta date. We need to go to UTC and have an Insta date in front of that stupid green wall where everyone is taking photos at. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts about Instagram and having all of your photos need to be perfect all the time? Can you just be you, or do you really have to start thinking strategically of how it needs to be, the flat lays and all of this stuff? What are your thoughts?
it really depends on your brand. And this is the thing, like, some people are intimidated because Instagram has now become this, like, super pretty platform. And like you said, like, everything's like these bright, airy, like, whitewashed photos and the perfect pastels and the perfect flat lays. And, you know, I'm like, let me just be clear. Mama ain't got time for that. Like, I do not have time to plan those kind of photo shoots, okay? Let's just put that out there. Like, I ain't got time for this. But a lot of people are doing that, and it can be intimidating. But in the same turn, if that's what everyone's doing, do you really want to be what everybody else is doing? You're not going to stand out that way. So find a happy medium where, like, I always tell my clients and the people I work with to get your best photos and create your best content, which it can be, you know, images at nighttime. It can be images that aren't, you know, beautifully whitewashed and pastel. They can be dark, you know, contrast and high saturated colors, and you can have a completely unique aesthetic of your own. But just make sure that the content is your best content, that it's something that is definitely been edited, that you've planned it, that you're not just like, oops, snap a photo, it's kind of grainy, it's kind of blurry, whatever, and upload it. We want you to take time and put effort into it, but it doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing. As long as it represents your brand and stays true to you, then that's what your audience is going to connect with.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So Jen, let's get into the meat of all the Instagram marketing stuff. So what are a couple of tips from you in terms of how to create a captivating Instagram account? Because yes, you could go ahead and create an account. It's easy to do, but what are some things that some people forget about when putting their accounts together?
It is personality. Like, really, that's what it comes down to. Instagram is a very personal space in the sense of you're talking to people and they're talking to you as a person. They don't want to be corporate, you know, garbly-goop. Like, they want you to have a personality. So you do have to, like, use a profile photo with an actual photo if you can. If you are a bigger business and you can't use a person, like, as your logo or your profile photo, I get it. But put that personality in the bio. I was actually just working with a client of mine, and she was reworking her bio, and she was like, there's no personality that's not in here. And I was like, she's a pit bull rescue. She does like a lot of rescues for pit bulls and that kind of thing. And she's like all tatted up, and she does flowers, paper flowers. Like, it's like this total dichotomy of a personality. But I was like, I want to buy flowers for you because you are this super cool chick and you're not this like Stepford wife that, you know, makes these beautiful flowers. So we talked about getting her personality in there. So whatever you can do to bring that out, and that translates then into your photos and your captions and your responses to people. Like, be engaging, be personable, have all of that content, but be a human freaking being. Like, have a personality, have an opinion, have, like, you know, some sort of you know, unique factor about you that when people get to know you, they love you because of that personality.
Oh my gosh. You know what I've been doing on Instagram is I've been leaving, like, I'll say something clever or witty, but then I'll just like put the little periods and I'll go down and then I'll write something really stupid where it's just like, oh, just to see if they're really paying attention, you know? And it's funny because some people,
that's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little Easter egg, and some people don't notice it. Like the folks that are still messing around with bots, they leave like stupid ass comments, and I'm just like, God, go away. But
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about like how important it is for you to go ahead and use a headshot or a profile photo that encapsulates pretty much your personality. Be creative with your bio. What are your thoughts about like emojis in bios? Is that trashy? Is that fun?
It depends on your brand. And here's the thing with emojis. Emojis don't have to be annoying smiley faces. There's like how many hundreds of emojis in the emoji keyboard. So if you do something in the floral space, you can use all the different flower emojis. If you do something in the fashion space, you can use the fashion emojis. If you do something in the food space, use the food emojis. Like, it doesn't have to be like the super ridiculous, you know, overly cheesy emojis. You can even use the symbols that are like the diamond shapes or the squares or the circles, just something to add color. Because when you add that pop of color and that little bit of differentiation into your bio, it stands out. It makes people actually pay attention to it a whole lot more. And that's always a good thing. So even if you are like this, you know, super professional law firm, you could still use emojis in a very tactful and, you know, aesthetically pleasing way that doesn't make you look like a 15-year-old wrote it.
Very true. It's, in fact, you know what? Shout out to Kelly Duford, who I follow a lot on Instagram. She's a female lawyer, and she's knocking it out of the park. She does a lot of lifestyle stuff. She shows photos of her team, of her speaking at female entrepreneur business workshops, and yeah, she has a lot of personality in there. So
That's
shout out to Kelly
awesome.
Duford. Yep. Oh, and hey, you know what? Katarina's here, Daryl's here. So what's up, you guys? If you have if you have any questions for Jenn, notice how I say Jenn. Ask Jenn. Drop them in the comments. That way we could go ahead and address them on the show. So we've talked about profile photo. We've talked about bios. What about links? What about links?
Okay.
Are you a fan of the whole?
So,
go for it.
The whole fan of the whole what? Go for it. No, I want to know what you want to ask.
Oh, I was going to say the whole link tree thing. How you have multiple
Yes
links.
and no.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the thing. For some people, Linktree is a really good idea. It's a really good way because if you have multiple products, or if you are, an account that has a lot of content, like maybe like a news platform or something where you're constantly posting new and relevant articles, and you don't want people to if they see something that was 3 days ago, now they have to dig through the archives already in your content. So having Linktree or those sorts of things can be really helpful with getting them to the right place from one source. So in those situations, yes. But for the average small business, the average entrepreneur, no. It becomes a little too much because you have to understand the way Instagram works. There's that one link, and I realize that's really limiting, but to get people to take action to get them to your website, they probably saw the image in their feed. Then they have to read the caption, realize they want to do something. Now they have to click on your photo to get to your bio. Now they have to click on the link to get to your website. We don't want them to have to navigate through more steps to get there. So if you can make sure that link goes to the right place and gets them there in one direct step versus having to now go to the link tree. Now they have to navigate through to find the right thing to go to the right page. It's more steps that can be disconcerting to some people. Not to mention if people don't know how that kind of page format lays out with a link tree, it can be confusing to somebody the first time they click on it and go I thought I was going to end up on an article I wanted to read. Now I'm on another page, and where am I supposed to go? And so it can be a little, disconcerting for some people. It can be hugely advantageous for some businesses. So you really have to kind of take ownership of what you are doing, how you're using Instagram, and where you're sending people. If it's beneficial to you, great, use those sorts of things. But otherwise, just make sure that, for me, I always say that mine goes to my, jenstrends.com/blog. Because most of the things I'm promoting, I'm saying, hey, go check out my latest blog post. So if they're doing that, they're going to click on the link. They're going to land on my blog page. Yep. If they're looking for today's blog post, that's the first one on the page. Yeah. Otherwise, they can scroll back and look. But while they're scrolling, chances are they're going to see other blog posts I've written that are probably going to appeal to them as well. So rather than using something like Linktree and giving them the links to all of my blog posts, I give them one direct source and hope that that's going to satisfy their needs. So, and that way it never expires either, right? It's there. They can always go to that page. They can always end up on my blog and be current. So is it perfect? No. But again, this is why being, a marketer on Instagram, you have to be creative. You have to find those solutions that are going to work for you and use them in a way that, benefits your audience as well.
For sure. Okay, and so what's the difference between, or what's the advantages of having, and P.S., by the way, I totally read the book, so I know, I did my homework. So what are the advantages?
The answer.
I know. What are the advantages of a personal profile versus a business profile?
I feel like this is like a pop quiz, and you've got the answer, the checklist, and you're going to be check.
No, it's easy for me because I could just go down the table of contents and be like, oh.
You're you missed one.
No.
Okay. So here's the thing. I am a huge, huge, huge proponent of using business profiles because there are a lot of, individual components, but it's a branding perspective. The fact that you have a business profile allows you to stand out on Instagram. Now, people freak out and they're like, well, if I'm a business profile, I'm going to get lower reach. And, just like on Facebook, I'm going to get punished. I'd rather keep it personal.
Yeah.
I get that. But there's been no proof. Multiple people have studied this time and time again. There has been no proof that there is any difference between a business profile and a personal profile in terms of reach and exposure. When you do change between the two, you will notice a change in your reach. But that happens when you go from a business back to a personal, just the same. So what happens is when you kind of switched, Instagram kind of goes, let's just pump the brakes for a second and see what's going on with your account, make sure everything's okay. They kind of slow you down, but within 2 to 3 weeks, you're back to normal. Whether you transfer one way or the other, that happens to both situations. So you're not actually being penalized in any way by being a business profile. So eliminate that whole fear and just go be a business profile.
Okay.
So you get the additional buttons by being a business profile. You can have a call, an email, and a directions button, which means when someone goes to your profile, they can literally click call and it opens up their phone and they can call you. Now, if you want to talk about closing a sale, get a customer on the phone. It works. So, and
have
same
you
thing
ever
with
had
email.
someone call you?
I don't have call enabled on mine because my life is way too busy, but I do know multiple people that have used that and have literally closed sales like in minutes because someone calls them and they're like, hey, I have a question about this and I saw this on your Instagram profile. Yeah, absolutely. Blah, 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 blah. Done. Business done. Like you're making, and especially if you're like a physical business, if you're a storefront, if you're a restaurant, if you're retail, if you have a physical business location and deal with like the public in that kind of way, you absolutely should have your call feature enabled. But even email, you'd be surprised. I get so many emails that come from Instagram where they click the email button, it opens their email browser, they type up an email, and I'm booking consultations, I'm answering questions, I'm booking speaking gigs, like all because I have that little tiny button enabled on my Instagram, because now they don't have to go and say, oh, I have to go to her website, oh, I have to figure out how to contact her. They have it in one place. They don't have to memorize, copy, or do anything. They push a button and it just works.
Which is probably what happened because you've just been on this whole entire media frenzy. Like everywhere. Like I've seen you like everywhere. Like homegirl's on the radio. I was like, what? But I know, it's been crazy. You had this opportunity where the Facebook algorithm updated and they reached out to you and you were talking about the new algorithm stuff and you made yourself accessible. So that's amazing.
And that's the thing, when it comes to radio or like TV media, you don't say no. Like if they call, you figure out a way to be there. Like if they say be here in 45 minutes, you figure it damn out because it's like, you can't not be there. If you say no, they're going to get somebody else. And once they get somebody else, they're not calling you again.
Yeah, they're on that list again.
Make yourself available.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we've got one question that came in from Rashida, and her question was, she has about 13,000 followers right now, and she had started off as a personal account and she was getting really great engagement. And then she started shifting over towards doing a social media agency. Now her engagement has dropped. So at that point, is there anything that she could do to just like boost engagement back up? Or is it just the fact that like her audience is just different now? The content that you're putting out there?
It's probably a combination of a couple things. Yeah, it's probably your audience is shifting. So if you were a personal profile, your audience who were on there who were following you for personal reasons are like, well, I don't care about the fact that you're doing this now. Yeah. So they're going to ignore that content because they don't care. And it's also probably a lot of the content you're creating. And this is this is what I've been talking about for like 2 weeks with all these new algorithmic changes, is you have to be a human being. The moment we start becoming marketers and we start pushing content on people, they disappear because they don't want to hear. Like if you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or anything, when you see uplifting content, when you see happy content, when you see entertaining content, when you see educational content, you like it because it's what you want to see. The moment you start seeing, hey, I've got this new program, delete, bye, moving on, don't want to talk to you no more. So when we as marketers do that, what do you expect our audience to do? They're going to do the same thing. So you have to find ways to compromise and get that marketing type content out there, but in a very personal way. Try using a more personal photo with a marketing message. So an example of this, Jasmine Star does this really well, and she has beautiful photography. Mm-hmm. She has great photos. It's a beautiful photo of her. It's a photo of her dog. It's a photo of the beach. It's a photo of a restaurant, whatever it is. But then in the message, she's talking about whatever the program is, or she's doing a webinar, whatever it is. But she's not turning the photo into a marketing photo. She's still making it appealing to her audience in a way that is, visually appealing. It's still contextual because she'll tie it back to the photo. That thing, you can't just use a pretty sunset photo and then be like, buy my new program. Those two don't work together.
When the sun sets, my program goes bye-bye.
But see, that you can do. That I 100% support because you're tying it together. But when you just put a beautiful photo and then you're like totally irrelevant content, it doesn't, everyone's going to be like, really? That's like, it's clickbait basically at that point, right? So you have to find a way to tie them together. But it is, the chances are it's the combination of those shift of things where it's, it's her changing the content and the things that she's putting out there. And the fact that, that audience just doesn't care about that kind of content because it's not of interest to them. And that's okay. If they're not interested and that's the direction you're going, that's okay. Your new audience that will find you will be interested. So you'll build on that new audience. You don't have to worry about catering to the old audience.
All right, Rashida, aren't you so happy that you asked that question? I'm telling you guys, this is why I love Facebook Live, because this is your opportunity to tap into her brain, or if you want to later down the line, just tap the email on her profile.
Yes, at Jenns_trends. Email.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude, I was like, I was putting the promo together and I was like, oh, Instagram.com, Jen's Trends. And I clicked on it, I was like, that is not Jenn. It's like, it's Jenns_trends.
_trends.
Yeah. I was like, imposter, who are you? This is not my homegirl. All right. So let's get into the meat of the stuff, because I feel like other people are just like, okay, let's start talking about how to grow my audience. What is it what do people need to do or think about today in order to start building their audience the right way? And by the right way, I mean like not buying followers and not using bots.
Exactly. There's a lot of things you can do. So one of my favorite tactics, and this is a little bit time, labor, intensive kind of thing, because it takes some work on your behalf. Technically, I'm sure you can set up a bot to do this for you, but that takes the fun out of it, if you ask me. But so basically, for me, what I do is I stalk social media conference hashtags. So you want to find a hashtag for something that's related to where your target audience is. So for me, I work with clients who want to learn social media. So people who are at a social media conference, kind of my target audience. Mm-hmm. So let's say there's a conference going on. There's Social Media Marketing World is coming up, which I will be at, but in theory, I would stalk that hashtag. Yeah. I know, so excited. So I would go find that hashtag on Instagram and I would go through it. I can either choose to follow it in my news feed, or I can just go to the hashtag and start going through it. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to like anything that looks decent. Like I'm like double tap, scroll. Like I'm going to burn out my thumb, double tapping and scroll.
You must have the buffest thumb there is.
Right? I'm like, some more.
Some more. That's exactly what I was. Okay, cool. We're on that same level. Love it.
We're totally there. And everyone thinks we're hilarious and crazy. It's awesome. So, but here's the thing. When you do that, you start showing up in all of these people's notifications. You don't have to comment. You don't have to follow them. But if they posted 5 photos from a conference and you liked 5 of their photos, now you're in their notifications 5 times. And they're like, who's this Jenns_trends person? They come over to my profile because I've just liked all their content and go, oh, look at her. She looks pretty interesting. I could probably learn a thing or two from her. Follow. So again, I'm sure you could set up a bot that would do the liking for you and it would make your life a lot more, time efficient. But I also like to go through and see the content. I want to know what my audience is creating. What are they talking about in those posts? What are things that are appealing to them most? Are they most interested in Snapchat? Are they most interested in Facebook? What are they most interested in? And you learn that by going through their content. Ooh. So by doing that, you can gain tens, hundreds of followers in a relatively short period of time. And the best thing is they're actually targeted. They're people who are your target audience, and you're not going out of your way in an abusive, harassing way to get in their face and be like, follow me, I'm amazing. All LB, you did was
right? Wait, what did they do? They say LB or first or?
Right. So, but it gets you in there and it's rewarding to them because you've just liked their content. You've just given them an ego boost and now they're much more likely to interact with you and respond. So you're not going to get every follower. Not every one of them is going to follow you, but it's a great way to build your audience strategically, organically, and in a very targeted way. So that's one of my favorite things. Another thing you can do is contests. And when you run a contest, you must,
you
in order to grow
your... I remember reading about this.
There is. There's a whole chapter on contests.
There's a whole chapter on contests, you guys. Seriously.
So we're not going to do all of that, because go buy the book and it'll tell you everything you need to know. But when you run a contest, the key is that you want to make one of the criteria to A, follow your account, and B, tag at least one person in the comments as part of their entry requirement. So I currently just ran a contest on my profile with that. Those are the only 2 criteria. We had to follow my account and you had to tag somebody in the comment telling them why you like Jen's Trends. And so I think I got probably about 50 entrants or something like that. Not a huge number, but it did allow me to get new followers, because now when the person who entered tags their friend, Their friend sees the notification. They come over and go, well, I want to win the book. So they follow me, and then they tag a friend. So it becomes exponential growth. Your first few contests probably won't be hugely powerful. You're not probably going to get, thousands of followers overnight by doing this. But if you do this once a month and you do it consistently and you give a quality prize that's related to your business, we don't just give away iPads, people. We're past that stage, right?
Oh, those were the good old days. Those were the good old days where you could just get a freaking iPad just by liking something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always for a tire repair shop or something. Really? How are these even correlated?
Seriously.
But if you do that, you can build your audience, again, targeted audience, because you're making your audience do the work for you. You're not having to go out and find people. Your current followers are going to tag their friends that are going to be relevant to grow your audience, again, organically, strategically, and in a really targeted way. So those are my two best tips. There's lots of other things like hashtags, and we could do a whole session on hashtags. There's, Instagram stories, using geotags in the Instagram stories or hashtags and stories.
For sure, I want to touch on Instagram stories and hashtags because who was it? Who just asked me about hashtags? That was Tracy. Tracy was asking, what's the process for finding hashtags? So, God, dude, I can't believe it's already 4:26. I feel like I could talk to you forever. It's been
I know, we could legit do a 3-hour call. People would be so exhausted of listening to you and I go back and forth, but we could be here for 3 hours. We totally could do it.
I need water. Okay, let's talk about hashtags.
Okay, so hashtags, absolutely use them 100%. You can use up to 30, use as many as you want. I recommend doing at least 10 to 15. If you want to go 20, 25, do it. Whatever anybody tells you, otherwise you can go smack them crazy. So if someone tells you you can't use more than 5, it's not true. That's a whole other story. You can find all about it. And we're going to probably mention it because it was something that came up recently. But yes, you can use up to 30. Use them. The more hashtags you use, the more chance you have people finding your content. Here's the thing. You have to be selective. You want to use about 4 or 5 really popular. And by really popular, I mean at least 100,000 or more posts on that hashtag. Don't use the ones that have 12 million. That's irrelevant. You're never going to show up. But popular hashtags, you want to use 4 to 5. These are all brand specific, related to your industry, related to your content, that sort of thing. You want to use 4 to 5 of moderately popular. So in the kind of maybe, tens to hundreds of thousands of posts. And then you want to use your super niche specific. That's your exact ideal target audience and or your branded hashtags, which have less than 10,000 posts on them. So for example, hashtag social media, bazillions of posts. Too much, don't even bother using it. Hashtag social media marketing gets a little bit more niche specific. Hashtag Instagram expert, hashtag Instagram marketing. That gets really niche specific. And if I use my hashtags, Jenn's Trends and Learn from Jenn, that's my branded content. So you mix these in, and what ends up happening is your content gets an initial burst from the popular ones. The moderately popular keep it active over hours and days. Mm-hmm. And the niche specific and branded hashtags is now how your audience finds you. But the other two categories are what gave you a boost. So in the niche specific ones, you're ranking as a top 9 because you're a highly effective and well-performing post thanks to the other hashtags, as well as your existing audience. They play a factor too. So now if you start showing up in a top 9 for your industry, niche specific, guess what? That's how people find you. That's how you get new followers. That's how you get new clients. And I have a whole blog post on this in way more detail, and it's in the book. So you can find lots more in much more detail.
Yeah, dude, I didn't buy 1, I bought 2. So hey, so having said this, so all these hashtags now, where do you put them? Are you putting them in the actual caption itself? Are you putting them in the first comment? What's up?
It totally does not matter. So I'm lazy. They go in the caption because mama ain't got time to hit post and go back and add a caption or a comment and put them in. I ain't got time for that. I'm hit that post and done. I'm out of here, people.
Yeah.
But so it's easy. It's convenient. Put them in. Nobody cares. They don't look spammy. Everybody does it. It's Instagram. Nobody cares. I swear to God. But if you don't like it and if you want to put them in a separate caption or comment, that's totally fine. But just make sure that once you've uploaded the photo, you're immediately putting the hashtags in there because you want them to be able to rank immediately for search results. If you wait an hour, 2 hours a day, you've lost all of that time for them to show up in a hashtag search. So it doesn't matter where you put them as long as you do it immediately.
Very cool. Okay, so let's see. So Rashida says, is the 60 hashtag hack too much? I think you're only limited to 30, so I'm not quite sure what that was.
You are limited to 30. There's, I want to say it might have been Scott Ayers, who now does the social media lab for Agora Pulse. I think he was the one that came out with the 60 kind of workaround. And it's this kind of a sneaky way. Personally, I think I can't even come up with 30. Like, I'm tapped out by the time I get to like 18. I'm like, what else am I supposed to put on this? Like, I don't have that many hashtags in my life, people. So I think 60 is too many. But even then, the way they do the workaround, it worked like a year ago. I want to say that I don't know if it still works. I feel like Instagram.
I don't know what it is. Things. What is the 60 hashtag? Is that you put in 30 and then you delete it and you put in a new 30? Is that?
Well, that's one way. Yeah. So you go in and you do, and a lot of people will do this too, where you put in a really popular hashtags and then you can go in and you can delete those ones. And then you go in, like, so whether it's an hour later or whatever it is, and put in the ones you want to last longer term. So you can get the initial burst for 30, and then you can stop, delete them, and then put in new ones and do that. So, but here's the thing. I feel like, and I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on this, but I feel like there have been situations where Instagram is now saying once you've shown up in a hashtag, it's kind of like held there. Even if you delete it, it's still counted as a hashtag.
That's a good thing, right?
You can't. Yes, I support it, but a lot of people, of course, want to game the system and manipulate it. Don't like this. But I haven't tested this recently to validate it. But I've been seeing, and I believe that that's what Instagram does now, where they actually don't. If you delete it, you're still considered part of that original hashtag, and I don't think you can do that. Like, go back, delete, and add new ones. I could be wrong. Like I said, don't quote me on that. I don't have testing to prove it, but that's my understanding at this point.
Got it. And sorry, there's one more question in here. So Charlotte is asking, how many niche-specific hashtags should you have? So if we have 30...
As many as you can have. So like I said, my ideal is 4 to 5 of each category. So if you do 4 to 5 popular, 4 to 5 moderately, and 4 to 5 niche-specific, that's your 15 right there, right? So that gets you easily into that middle range. If your niche specific is you can get, 5, 6, 7, 8, great. The more niche specific ones you can use, the better, because that's where your content is actually going to get found by your target audience. So if you can get 10 of those, great. Use 10 of them. Just remember, you want these to be something where, like, if you are a local business, start looking at, like, the local hashtag. So like we're here in San Diego. So if you were a San Diego floral shop, you would want to use everything for like San Diego florals and San Diego florists, like anything like that starts pulling in your local demographic, not just using all these super popular ones. So
just
there's
flowers.
a lot of ways you can get that niche specific. Yeah, exactly. Don't use hashtag flowers, people. You will never get that one, I promise.
Okay, cool. So Tracy was saying, all right, so Jen, what do you think about putting in 30 and then deleting it and putting in 30? Tracy, definitely go ahead and go after that if you have time for it. Like Jen and I, like, we both have like toddlers, and it's just not gonna happen.
When I hit post, it is done. I'll go back and answer comments. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna stay there for the engagement, but I'm like, Mama ain't got time for that. But if you do, go for it. Try it. See if it works. If it works for you, then great.
Very true. And now you are a big proponent of Instagram stories, but also Instagram Live. So take this however which way that you want. Do you want to start off with Instagram stories, like some tips and tricks, or do you want to talk about like how Instagram Live has really helped catapult your business? Because I feel every time I watch it, there's like hearts, like
I know, I love it. I have the best audience. I love them. So Instagram Live is built within Instagram Stories. So there's Instagram, which is your normal feed. That's your gallery. That's like the Instagram of old, which is all of like 5, 6 years old. But let's just say that's the old school Instagram. New school Instagram is when you go to your feed and up in the top you have those banners of all the little circles. Those are people who have shared the stories.
Yep.
And it's a completely different component. This is almost going back to what we talked about at the top of the show, where like that raw content, like that real, like totally genuine, you don't have to worry about having super polished photos. Stories is what Instagram was when it started. It's raw, it's real, it's Insta. It is definitely like a different component. It's a different audience. It's a different level of interaction. It's very Snapchat-esque. You've got emojis and face filters and stickers and text and doodles, and you can do, simple text. You can do videos. You can do photos. Like, it's a whole other component. It's literally like another platform within Instagram. And they have two completely different strategies, two completely different audiences. It is definitely very different. So you need to figure out what works for your audience. My audience likes my stories, not saying they don't. I just don't like creating them. I'm like, I have a hard time coming up with one post. Do you want me to create 7 or 8 stories in one? And I'm like, oh, hey,
Really?
God.
Oh my God. I would rather do
I mean, you're
stories.
great at it. You are so good. You are like on there every day. Like you are killing it. I'm like, man. I'm like, I think you're doing all these great things.
Stop. I was doing the donut selfies where it's just like, this is where I am. And this is where I am. That's all I was doing. And everyone kept messaging me and they're asking me like, what app are you using to do that? I was like, dude, I'm just like sitting at the mall and I'm doing this. They're like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, people are laughing at me. So, but
oh my God, I love it. But that's the thing. People relate to that, right? The stories is the very personable side. It's the goofy side. It's the behind the scenes. That's where stories are catapulting brands in a way unseen on pretty much any platform except for Snapchat, which was a much harder platform to build an audience on. Mm-hmm. So stories is giving you that stupid, goofy, childish, ridiculous, fun, hilarious entertainment value that you no longer get on Instagram with the super polished, very professional, overly staged photos that we see so much more of. Stories is that just kick back like it's totally random, like I'm at the park with my kid, hey, here's a photo. Like, you don't want that to live on forever on your Instagram, but you don't care if it's there for 24 hours on your stories. Mm-hmm, so and people are connecting with brands in a completely different way as a result. So I'm a huge advocate for it. I don't use it. This is one of those do what I say, not what I do type things, because if I had the time and the creative capacity, trust me, I would do it. But I'm like, my brain is fried by the end of the day. I don't have time to think up 7 posts to put in an Instagram story. But it is like when you do think about it, and if you do put a strategy, like if you have an event coming up, if you're doing something for your business, if you want to promote a product, if you're going somewhere, doing a charity event, if you're involved in your community, like there's all these things that you can do and be like, hey, I can totally make a story out of this. Mm-hmm. Please do. You will be shocked at the level of interaction that you get from your audience as a result. Now, tied in with that, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what are some key things that you need to have in your Instagram stories? Like, are you still putting in your hashtags? Are you putting like geolocation? Does that matter? Like,
you and I like see we're on the same wavelength. I was literally just going to say that. So,
well, because you know what? Like, I'm watching you and I'm hearing you, and then like all these comments like from Yvonne, and like they're all like coming in, and I was just like, I'm trying not to be cross-eyed, basically.
I love her. I love it. So. Yeah, you want to use the location tag. It's the geo tag, but they call it location tag in stories because we have to make life complicated and call things different things. But the location tag. So you can use as broad as a city, a county, a state, a country, or you can use as niche specific as the company's, physical location, the park you're at, the lake you're at, the, store you're at, whatever it is. And so, but you want to use that location. The location is what's going to potentially get you in front of tons of new people. And if you tag yourself at a specific location, like an actual, store location, you may still show up in your city hashtag searches on stories. So just because if you don't use the San Diego location tag, if like I went to Jake's Del Mar a few months back, it was like over the summer with one of my girlfriends, and I used the Jake's Del Mar location tag, but I showed up in the San Diego hashtag search because they know that Jake's Del Mar is in San Diego County. So I showed up in the large search for the San Diego. So just because you use one tag doesn't mean you're only going to show up in that one tag search. Instagram's smart enough, and all those AI things that they do to know that there's more to it than that. And that's where you get exposure. That's where people can find you, especially if you're that physical business. It's great for things like restaurants and bars and retail and all that sort of stuff because your customers tag there, it would make, you show up. If you're tagging your stuff there, you could show up. It's not a guarantee, but yes, you can show up in those other searches. The same thing goes for hashtags. You'll show up if you use the hashtags. The problem is people started getting slimy smarmy with it and they started using hashtags and they were like putting like 10, 20 hashtags in there, but making them all black and putting them like super, super tiny. So there was like a dot somewhere.
Wait, that doesn't work?
Not anymore. Instagram got smart to it. They totally got smart to it. I know.
Stop. I was doing that because my hair was black, and I was like, I'm just going to put all them damn hashtags in my hair.
Yep. And trust me, it was a smart hash, and it still works to it. I don't know what the cap is, but they did get smart to it, and they've cut down on where like the number of, I don't want to put a number out there because I don't know if it's like, let's say if it's 2, 5, 10, I don't know what it is, but they've gotten smart to the fact that people are doing this, and they've put a cap on it, but I don't know what the cap is.
Oh, that's
so,
sucks.
But you should totally use the hashtags because, again, you're going to start to show up in searches. If someone goes and searches for something, whether it's a location or a hashtag, now when you see the search results, you see all the normal Instagram posts, but at the top, if there are stories in that category, you're going to see story results in the searches as well.
But when you say hashtag,
there are those things you want to use.
But when you say hashtag, are you saying it when you're typing it hashtag, or are you using the sticker that has a little hashtag already built in it?
You can do either or.
Okay.
So they both work as long as when you type the hashtag, if you're doing it on your actual keyboard and not using the stickers, you want to make sure it shows up underlined. If it's not underlined, it's not hyperlinked as a clickable hashtag. So if you just type, and the same thing goes with @mention on stories. If you type @Jenns_trends and if you don't select me and it doesn't have the underline, then it's not clickable. It'll show up in text, but it's not clickable. So to be clickable as an @mention or a hashtag, it has to be underlined in your story. And you can't underline it. It does it because it knows it's like a hyperlink.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's also talk about creative ways that people are using Instagram stories, because there's the new highlights feature, right?
Yes.
What have you seen people doing? Because I will tell you, these fashion bloggers are driving me nuts. I was like, dang, yeah, so smart. Gosh.
So there's a lot of people out there getting really creative with it. Basically, the highlight is, so we all know Instagram stories disappear after 24 hours. They're gone, poof, bye-bye. Well, people were creating all this awesome content, and then it was disappearing, and they couldn't repurpose it. So highlights actually allow you to now save any of your stories that you want to albums on your profile. So if you go to my profile, you'll see my bio, and then you'll see 3 circles, and then you see my normal content. In those circles, I think I have one for like blogs and books, IG news, and like IG tips. So when I do a story talking about a new Instagram, update that came out, I can now turn around and save that to that highlight for IG news. So if you come to my profile 6 months later, when you go to that highlight, you can tap through all of the stories that I've ever done and saved in there with all the Instagram news and updates.
Ooh,
so
brilliant.
It becomes a long form retainer of all of your short form stories, but it becomes one big giant album. So you want to be smart about it. You're not saving every story. That's irrelevant. But you want to put them in categories. You do want to break them out. So if you're, again, like the fashion blogger, you want to have one that's maybe all for fall fashion. You want to have one that's maybe for, just for shoes. You want to have one that's just for maybe affiliates that you're associated with or something like that. You can get creative with where you create these different albums. If you're in a service industry, if you don't have physical products, maybe you have, different types of things that you offer different services, or you have things that, like me, I provide education. So you can take your content and educational content and make that an album. You need to get creative with it and find ways you can package the content that if someone goes in there, it's now fully, valuable to them because it's relevant content. But it's brand relevancy. You're turning around and saying, look, I have all of this content to share with you. Like, these are all things that you need and want, and I'm giving it to you all in one place. And they're like, wow, this person's super awesome, and I need to follow them. I need to work with them. Like, it's a chance for you to create a marketing funnel in a lot of ways. And that's the thing. So with business profiles with over 10,000 followers, you can do the swipe up on your stories, right? So you have the clickable link only if you have more than 10,000 followers in your business profile. But if you have that link stays active in your Instagram stories and your highlights.
Dang,
so whenever
that's awesome.
I have a blog post, I can turn around and be like, click on the link or, swipe up to go to the blog post. I go and repurpose that into my highlight album. Guess what? Now it's there for anybody who comes at whatever time, and they're not having to navigate. They can tap up right there on that post in my Instagram highlight, and they're on that exact blog post. So
I was going to see your little thumb up swipe for your thumb more thing. Swipe up! So Yvonne says that she's using story highlights as well, and she features things like her planners, her shoes, her favorites, things of that sort. So that's so smart. I've seen someone also do like frequently asked questions. I think you can even do that too for yours, just because people hit you up all the time. They send you DMs, all that good stuff. All right, so let's talk about Instagram Lives. Is there anything that how do you make Instagram Live successful? Because you are absolutely crushing it. Like I said, every time I see you go live and there's just like hearts galore and the comments pop in and you're just like, you're all up in it and you get right to it. So what are some tips and tricks on like how to nail your Instagram Live?
So it's like live anywhere else. It's like Facebook Live. It's like Periscope. It's like Snapchat. Whatever you want, like wherever you go live, it's live. So you have to be on it. You have to be ready to go. You know, and my biggest thing when it comes to live in any capacity is you have to have some sort of an outline. I don't want you to read bullet points point for point in your live videos, but I want you to have structure, because when you're on a live video, it is so easy to go down rabbit holes. It is so easy for the audience who are watching you to like throw in questions and comments, and you get distracted and you're like, where was I going? And, you know, you started off talking about a certain topic and like, you know, 10 minutes later, you don't even know what you were talking about. So having that outline to keep your structure that you know, yes, hey, I'm going to come back to this, like, and keep your path, because your audience will appreciate that. Your audience showed up for a reason. They want that content. So give it to them. You got to keep on track. That being said, I'm a huge proponent for advertising in advance. Put an Instagram story out 24 hours before you go live, so that lasts for the 24 hours leading up to the time you go live. To tell people I'm going live. I post it on my Instagram. I put it in my newsletter. I put it on Facebook. I put it in my Facebook groups. Like, I'm putting it out there. I'm going live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. People don't.
I've seen you do it. Yeah.
You have to, because people are busy. They don't remember. And again, it's getting them to know that you're going to be there. They'll show up. They'll make the time for you. But on top of that, it's consistency. I'm there every other Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, every other Wednesday, like clockwork. It took me months. I've been doing this for almost a year now, and it probably took me 6 months to build up any consistency of audience showing up regularly, because they're like, okay, oh, I happen to be there. Jenn was talking. Okay, cool. But until it's like you're there every single time, they're like, oh, it's Wednesday. Jenn should be going live. Like,
oh, that's funny.
You have to realize it takes, and that's on any platform, right? Like the same thing with Facebook. You go Facebook Live, it's going to take you months to build solid audience participation.
Yes.
So you need to be prepared for that time commitment. Don't just do it, try it for like 2 or 3 episodes and be like, oh, it didn't work for me, and you abandon ship. Like, you have to give it time. You have to make a commitment to it. And then, like, you have to think of it like you're on a radio show, right? Like, you have to realize people are tuning in at all different points of your show. They're not coming in at exactly the time you start and staying until the time you end. So, like, I always greet people as they come in, and it shows up on the screen when people are joining. When I take a pause in the topic, I'll greet all the new people that came in. I'll remind people, for those of you that came in late tonight, this is what we're talking about. Just so you know, if you missed anything, come back and watch the replay, because they're going to want to catch the first half of this episode. Like, you've got to think of it as a radio show, and don't just be like, it's not like someone sat down on their, you know, DVR to watch the entire episode in its entirety. They're coming in and, you know, exactly. That's for the replays. That's for the YouTube channel uploads. But you don't get that. Like on Facebook Live, they can come back and watch because it stays on your profile. Instagram doesn't do that. And your Instagram Live cannot be uploaded to your highlights, which really sucks. Just so you know, I hope they change
I didn't know that. Wait,
oh, okay, man, can you imagine my Instagram Live?
That would be insane. That would be insane. Wait, so can you save your Instagram Lives?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, at the end of your live, when you finish, you can hit end broadcast, and you can only talk for an hour. Literally, we'll cut you off. You cannot go over an hour.
I love how you know this from experience.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Every dang week, I'm like, I have 28 seconds left, and I start panicking. So, but you literally get an hour. And so anyways, when you're done, you hit end broadcast, and you get to your final screen. It's going to say how many people tuned in for the live show. And then at the very top right corner, it will say save. You must hit save right then. If you don't save it then, you've lost it. It's gone. You'll never see it again.
All right,
so you have to hit save right then and there. I know. And because then you can hit the big blue button to share it for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. But once you hit share, you cannot go back and save it. As of right now, they might change this. They've been testing features back and forth, so they might change that. But once you've hit share, you can't go back and save it. It's gone. So unless you have a way to like download it off of like a recording on your phone, like it was some, high tech, gizmos, basically it's gone. But if you hit save, it'll save to your camera roll and you've got it and you're done. And then you can upload it to Dropbox, upload it to YouTube, whatever you want to do with it at that point.
Very cool. Very cool. And so how often do you go live?
I go live twice a month. I go every other week on Wednesdays. This has been a busy 2 weeks. I went live 3 times in a week and a half. I was like, dang, are you guys tired of me yet? Like, seriously.
I remember
I'm
seeing
tired
that.
of me.
I saw that in your post. You're like, I hope you guys aren't tired of me, but I'm about to go live. Yes, again.
I know. Literally, I was like, I've never gone live this many times in one like short period of time.
Yeah.
But there was a lot that went on that needed to be talked about. So, but yeah, it's showing up. You know, it can be once a month, it can be once a week, it can be every day. If your audience can take in that amount of content, if you have that kind of content to deliver, but it has to be content that your audience wants. I do webinar style, like I do this, right? It's very educational. It's like, here's learning tactics, here's, you know, real events, it's news updates. It's not just me talking randomly for an hour. I mean, no one wants to listen to that. And if they do, I don't need them in my life. So you want to give that content value. And so if that means going live for 20 minutes, then go live for 20 minutes. But, you know, find the time and the content that works for you and your audience. And my audience knows they're going to be there for an hour. They make the time, or they know that on the replay, they're going to need to devote some serious time to their audience, to listening to it. But if your audience isn't prepared to do that, they may only want 10 minutes of content. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do 10 minutes 3 times a week, and that's 30 minutes of content. Do it however works for you, that your audience is getting the content that they want and that they'll respond to.
And I love this because your tips are very similar to live streaming on Facebook as well. It's like, I always tell people that if you're going to go jump in front of the camera, people are busy. Give them a heads up about what it is exactly that you're going to talk about. And like, fortunately for Facebook Live, I could always say like, here are the 3 things that you're going to learn. And then I just follow that schedule. So that's always super helpful. And for those of you that are just joining in, I've got my girl Jenn Herman here, and she is the Instagram marketing expert. She's also the author of Instagram for Business. Whoa, whoa. And I am giving away 2 copies of the book, so just go ahead and look at the description to figure out how you can win it. I will be announcing the winners tomorrow. So, Jenn, I might like have to steal you away from work or something and have you announce who the winner is going to be. But yeah, if you guys are loving this episode right now, go ahead and leave the comment, subscribe. That way, RoboStuff can go ahead and notify you the next time that we go live. All right, so just to recap, we've talked a lot of stuff so far. We've talked about profile photos, the importance of writing a bio, why it's important to be yourself, because you're the best version of yourself when you're being yourself and not trying to be somebody else. We talked about branded photos. We've talked about Instagram stories, highlights from those stories, Instagram Live, freaking hashtags, which I feel like everyone was just like blowing me up, like, talk to me about hashtags. Let's talk about scheduling. Okay. Are you using a scheduler right now?
No, I do not. I don't have enough content that I need a scheduler. I'm like, oh, I haven't posted all week. Maybe I should actually create something. I don't have time to schedule anything. So here's the thing. Schedulers are great. They work. They are very helpful, especially for brands and businesses. When you actually have a strategy, again, do what I say, not what I do. When you actually have a strategy of content and you know you're going to post 3 times a week and you want to get the content out there at the right time, absolutely use a scheduler. It's nice to work in a dashboard where you can manage everything. I'm a huge proponent of Agorapulse. I'm not an affiliate with them, but I'm a huge proponent of Agorapulse, Agorapulse.
I didn't know that they schedule. Really?
They do. And the best part about them, which is why I love them so much, is if you're a business, they give you an analytics report. You can literally hit print reports and it puts it into a beautiful PowerPoint that you can then go and share with your boss. You can share it with your client. It's like you can put your branded content on there with your logo and your colors, and it gives you all your data in one beautiful PowerPoint. And all you have to do is hit print report. You don't have to do anything. So if you have an agency and you have clients and you want to give them a monthly report on their Instagram, boom, done. If you work for a company and you have to show your board members, your boss, whatever it is, a report, boom, done. It's so easy, which is the reason I'm like obsessed with Agorapulse, because I'm all about making my life easier.
Yeah.
So I love it for that. You can use all the other ones. Planoly does it, Later does it, Hootsuite does it. There's a bunch of other ones out there. Here's the thing though, you guys, and this is super important that you guys understand how scheduling works with Instagram. Instagram has their API locked down, which means the only way you can schedule a post is to actually go through Instagram directly, meaning whatever tool you use, you create your post in that app, that dashboard, and you say schedule it for Saturday at 3:00 p.m. You have to have push notifications and that corresponding app enabled on your cell phone, and you will get a notification at 3:00 on Saturday on your phone to post it. You say yes, and it's going to open up. It's going to put that post in Instagram, and then you have to hit publish. So you actually, you can't just be like, oh, scheduled at 3 o'clock and be done with it. You can't schedule at 2 o'clock in the morning and be done with it, because you still have to physically authorize it through that third-party app and then open it up in Instagram. It's already populated. Your caption's in there, your hashtags are in there, the photos in there. It's all beautiful. You're all ready to go. You're just hitting post and actually pushing it to Instagram. That is because Instagram insists on this. This is the way their API is set up. There are apps out there and there are tools out there that will tell you they can do this, and they will post for you, and you don't need to authorize it. Here's the thing. A, they're violating Instagram's API. Okay, they found a workaround. In order to get a workaround, they need your username and login. They're basically logging in as you and posting on your behalf. So if you're comfortable giving away your username and password to a foreigner in another country that who knows what they're doing, go for it. I'm not okay with that, and I'm not giving my client's information away to some random stranger, and I'm not giving my company information away to some random stranger.
Yeah.
Nope, not gonna happen. So there are workarounds. I am not a proponent of them. They reach out to me all the time asking me to pump their products. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. I'm not associating with you guys. I don't care how trustworthy you say you are. Not gonna happen, because it's not comfortable with me to do that sort of thing. So their scheduling tools are great. They make your life easy. Absolutely use them. Just be understanding of how they work and the restrictions that are involved in them.
Agree. So if you guys, again, if you're going to be using any type of scheduling app, if for some reason they're asking you for your username and password so that they could post on your behalf, just be very aware, right, that you should be getting your push notifications. Like I use the Plan app just because I love the fact that I could sneak on what my competitors are using for their hashtags. Because girl, like you, like I said, I ain't got time to research 60 hashtags. I'm just going to go ahead and see what Jenn's posting.
Exactly. That makes life so much easier. What is
copy paste.
Okay, I'll
Copy
do the
paste.
same thing. And I do that too. Like I'm like, man, I'm running out of hashtag ideas. Like, what is everyone else doing? And I'll be like, oh, look, I should use that one. Okay.
For sure. All right, cool. So you guys, we've been talking about so much today. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and start dropping them into the comments. That way I could go ahead and field them over to Jenn. Jenn, do you have the comments open? It's okay if you don't, because I've been looking at them. All right, cool. Yeah, go ahead and leave a comment if you want to go ahead and subscribe. Just leave the comment, subscribe. If you have more questions about Instagram marketing, whether it's the hashtags, which I feel like hashtags is probably like the bane of your existence now.
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, it's fine. Everything's good. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, it is, like, the question comes up endlessly. It's fine. It always happens. And I'm totally fine talking about it. I'm a record on repeat. Like, when it comes to so many topics, it's totally fine.
That's so funny. Yvonne says, you don't want to know what I use. Ooh, Evie. Okay. So if there's any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Marie, it's so great to see you. Christy is here too. So Christy was actually one of the previous guests I had on Instagram marketing. And so she was the one that told me about the whole hashtags, put them in my hair. But Christy, apparently Instagram has caught on to that. So sad panda. Oh, which by the way, okay. The new thing, you could put GIFs in your stories or transparent GIFs.
Yes,
or what?
That literally just came out this week. So now, and my daughter just showed up. She just got over. So hi. She's making her guest appearance for the end of the show.
Love
She's so shy.
Oh, I love
say
it.
hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Say hi. She's so shy. So yeah, GIFs just came out this week. So you can do animated GIF letters. You can do little GIF stickers. So it adds a whole new layer. I haven't had a chance to really go in and try them. But I'm seeing lots of people using them, and it's super fun. It adds to that whole creative flair, that we're used to seeing with Instagram stories. So go in there, do that. Absolutely. And inside that announcement that came out, which is what I'm super excited about, is that now, how they have to crop to a 9:16, portrait style image to fit in stories. So if you have a landscape photo, you get that tiny little narrow sliver of your photo. So annoying. Not no more.
It's always my nose.
It's the worst part of the photo. Oh my God. But now you're going to be able to upload any image size. So what'll happen is if you have a landscape photo, you can choose a custom gradient color to fill the background. So just think of the applications of this to put a photo in the middle and then have the custom gradient, whatever color you want. You can put your text now around that. Yeah. You can put stickers around that. So you can use any image size. in a story. So that's the new thing that came out along with the gift notification. So I'm super excited about that because that's going to add so much versatility to the whole idea. It's going to be amazing.
That's cool. Well, as I mentioned to you guys, if you want to learn more about Instagram marketing, by all means, please go ahead and check out Jenn's Trends, Jenn's_trends. Because there's an imposter out there. Sorry. I don't know who she is. She's probably like a really sweet person, but
I know. And in fact, there is some girl like out there that was on Facebook that had like Jenn's Trends already on Facebook, and she was like a fashion blogger or something. But she's like, her account's been dead, I swear, for like forever. But it was taken. So on Facebook, I'm Jenn's Trends online, and then I became Jenn's_trends on I think Instagram first. Then I changed my Twitter to match that. Like it's whatever. But I'm at Jenn's_trends on Twitter and Instagram. So that's where you need to find me.
Very cool. Yeah, it's funny. There's another Stephanie Liu out there, and she's also a fashion blogger, and I guess she goes on all these. Bloggers. Yeah, they're all fashion bloggers. Damn you, fashion bloggers, for taking all of our names. And it's so funny because she went to like this fam tour, and they were tagging me as the person in the photo.
Oh my
I was
God,
like, I wish I was wearing that. I wish, but
right.
God. All right, you guys, it has been an absolute pleasure, Jenn, having you on the show. I know that you've got the babes there, so it's time to wrap up. But if you guys have
Mama
any...
time.
I know, mama time. I know, you made me miss my baby. If you guys have any other questions about Instagram marketing, again, Jenn Herman, she's the one to go and talk to. Go ahead and leave a comment. I'm sure you're going to pop in whenever you can. But definitely go ahead and catch her on her Instagram lives. She goes live about twice a month, but... I don't know. She's kind of like the energy bunny this week, so maybe she'll do another one.
Maybe I'll squeeze one in. If something big comes up, I'll squeeze one in.
Hey, Instagram, really something else.
Right? Exactly.
All right, you guys. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Let me one more thing. I totally forgot that I was going to do this. But if you guys want to win Jenn's book, let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Do you still have babes over there?
Yeah.
So cute. All right. So for you
guys, I'm
guys,
up my office. I'm gonna put everything on the floor. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I know. When my people always laugh because they're like, "Oh, your office, it's so nice when you're live streaming." I'm like, "Yeah, but you haven't seen the bottom of my floor because the bottom of my floor." That's
just it. So, and speaking of Instagram Live, my best Instagram Live ever. While you pull this up, my best Instagram Live ever was real life. Like I was doing full on webinar style. I'm ready to go. I'm going to do my thing. Like the doorbell rings, like it's a maintenance guy. Like it was just everything that could go wrong in that hour video went wrong. Like it was a disaster. And I was like, you know what, you guys, you want to see, like, welcome to my life. This is my chaos. Here's my life. I picked up my camera and I showed them the floor of my office, which again, it looks like this. It's all beautiful, right? No, my floor, you can't even see the carpet. There's so much stuff on my floor because my daughter had trashed my office. But to this day, everyone still talks about that live. They're like, that was so real. I realized you were just like, you always come across so perfect and polished, and I realized you weren't. And I'm like, you can see my floor anytime you want if that makes you like me better. But
I know, right?
Not show you.
I guess if that makes me relatable. Yeah, you guys, honestly, this is all nice, but if you look at the floor, if you look behind the monitor, it's just complete chaos. But as I was saying, if you guys want to go ahead and win a copy of Jenn's book, I do have 2 copies, Instagram for Business. You still have time to enter. Basically, you just like our Facebook pages, and then that gives you an opportunity to go ahead and win 2 copies of the book. And since Jenn is actually here in San Diego, I'm going to have to hit you up and figure out how we could go ahead and maybe get the book signed. So,
yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. I'll totally do that.
All right, you guys, I'm going to go and let her go. So we'll say bye now. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.